The Supreme Court has been coming down heavily on the central government's handling of the COVID 19. Similarly, many high courts have been seriously questioning both the central and the state governments. So, the Supreme Court observation on the vaccine policy is quite significant. The apex court said that the vaccine policy is arbitrary and irrational. But in fact, the vaccine policy is unconstitutional. To begin with, any law that is arbitrary is bound to be unconstitutional, and the courts have always held this opinion because arbitrariness goes quite contrary to the Article 14, the right to equality. So, let me examine in this video how the new vaccine policy of the Government of India, which commenced from the May 1st of this year, is absolutely unconstitutional. So, the first thing is, what is this vaccine policy? Let me first tell you what are the basic tenets of this vaccine policy. This vaccine policy says, A, above 45 years, the Government of India will provide vaccine to the states at a free of cost, and therefore they will be freely vaccinated. But below the 45 years, central government doesn't give any vaccine freely. The states and the private hospitals have to procure at a higher cost from the vaccine manufacturers, and it is up to the state government whether to give them free or not if for the people who are below 45 years. Then the second is the central government will retain 50% of the vaccines manufactured in India, and the remaining 50% the states and the private companies, private hospitals have to compete. The point 3, there is also a differential pricing. For example, the Covishield center will get it 150 rupees, states will get it 300 rupees. I think in the private hospitals they are around 600. So, the Bharat Biotech Covaxin center will get it 150, states will get it 400, and the private hospital will get 1200. So, this is the differential policy. So, there are 3 sets of prices for the center, states and the private hospitals. So, these are the basic tenets of the center's new vaccine policy. How do they fit into the India's constitutional scheme of things? Firstly, the Government of India often argues, the BJP often argues that the health is a state subject and therefore the states are responsible. It is true that the health is a state subject, but agriculture too is the state subject. Then why did the central government, why did the parliament enact farm laws and refuse to repeal these farm laws even though agriculture is clearly a state subject? The center has used one simple word, trade in foodstuffs, to enact far-reaching farm laws which encroach upon the rights of the states. So, when they can jolly well enact laws on a state subject like agriculture, even while thousands and thousands of farmers are protesting against them. So, but in the case of benefiting the people of this country, the central government tries to abdicate its responsibility by claiming that the health is a state subject. It is true that the health is a state subject. I don't deny the states have no responsibility in the pandemic management. But the fact remains, this is not a normal health issue. This is a disaster, and a disaster, in the wake of a disaster, the center has a greater responsibility. I'll just give you a small example. Who passed Disaster Management Act of 2005? It is an act of parliament. So, if it is not in the central domain, why will the parliament enact a law called the Disaster Management Act? So, the pandemic is more than a disaster. Even epidemic is a disaster. Pandemic is more than a disaster. That's number one. Number two, well, the entry 29 of the concurrent list very clearly states any disease that can spread from one state to other, even if it is related to human beings or animals, then the central government and the state governments have to act. It is a concurrent list. All of us know that if it is in the concurrent list, center has a greater responsibility because the central law prevails over the state law if it is in a concurrent list. So, therefore, the first thing is that the central government abdicating its responsibility in regard to supply of vaccines is absolutely unacceptable given the fact that the center is expected to play a much bigger role. So, in fact, till now, in the almost all kinds of immunization, whether it is a pulse polio or BCG or it is any other vaccination, it is always the central government which played an important role, which played the role of procuring the vaccines. So as the Supreme Court rightly said, central should procure the vaccines and states should be endowed with the responsibility of distributing these vaccines. Number one. Number two, well, the Article 14 of the Constitution says right to equality before law and right of equal protection from law. So look at the provisions of the new vaccine policy. You have two sets of prices for the vaccines. You have two sets of quotas for the vaccines, which are absolutely unacceptable as per the Article 14, because not just the law, even a policy cannot treat two sets of groups in an unequal manner. So why am I telling this is, what do you mean when you classify, when you make a classification of into two, whether it is center versus states, whether it is below 45 or above 45? The Constitution very clearly says, right to equality very clearly says that this differentiation should be intelligent. So the first condition for under Article 14 of the Constitution is intelligent differentia. There is the second condition, that intelligent differentia should have a nexus with the object of the statute or the policy. So this cannot be an intelligent differentia, because above 45 years or below 45 years, everybody needs protection from the COVID. So therefore it is not an intelligent differentia. Both the center and the states have a responsibility because the subject is under the concurrent list. So therefore this is not intelligent differentia. Then the second is, there is no nexus with the object of the policy. What is the object of the policy? COVID control or universal immunization. If the center is given vaccines at 150 and the states have to procure at 300, will it contribute to the universal immunization? If the center retains 50% quota of the vaccines manufactured in India and the remaining 50 states and hospitals have to compete, will it contribute to universal immunization? So on these two grounds, the new vaccine policy is ultra-virus to the Article 14 of the Constitution. Then the third aspect is the Article 21. Article 21 guarantees every Indian citizen, not just Indian citizen, even foreigners residing in India temporarily, with the right to life. And Supreme Court in several judgments have repeatedly held that right to health is also part of the right to life. Right to life encompasses, subsumes right to health. So therefore, the right to vaccination is obviously includes right to health. Right to health includes obviously right to vaccination. So every Indian citizen has the right to free vaccination. So therefore, when the center deprives those below 45 years of the right to vaccinate freely, it essentially means their right to life is being violated. So that is the third argument. Fourth argument is, India is a federal constitution. The Supreme Court in S.R. Bommai and Keshavananda Bharati cases clearly held that federalism forms part of the basic structure of the constitution, and any discrimination between the center and states is a violation of the federal principle of the constitution. You can't give 50% quota to center, and center cannot be given vaccines at a lower cost, because that goes against the spirit of federalism. Finally, the fifth one is, the preamble of the constitution very clearly says that the state will ensure social and economic justice to all. So you cannot achieve social and economic justice in absence of equal protection from the COVID-19, and vaccines are considered to be very strong protection against the COVID-19. Therefore, it is violative of this preamble of the Constitution.